What if the quiet scroll of your Instagram feed suddenly turned into a moment of shock, a rush of curiosity, and an explosion of emotions that made you wonder whether you were still dreaming or living inside a story only Taehyung could write? What if a single post from him in 2025, carrying nothing more than a picture of coffee, left millions speechless, debating, and trembling with excitement across the world? Before you move on, pause for a second, let your heart settle, and ask yourself, why does this particular update feel like more than just coffee? Why does it feel like a confession, a coded message, or even a beginning of something much greater? Comment below what you think this hidden message could mean. Like if your heart skipped a beat when you saw it, and subscribe to this unfolding story, because the deeper you go, the more you will realize that nothing Taehyung does is ever just ordinary. The post itself seems simple at first glance. A cup of coffee composed with elegance, placed in a setting that breathes quietness and warmth. The kind of image that on any other account might pass unnoticed. But this was not any account. This was Taehyung's Instagram. The living diary of an artist who has long mastered the art of leaving hints, stirring emotions, and crafting mysteries that only time and patience can unravel. The caption, almost too short to be real, carried a weight that made fans across the globe question their own interpretations. Was it a reference to solitude, to beginnings, to endings, or to love? Could it be tied to his music, his personal journey, or even a subtle whisper to someone unseen? Suddenly, the quiet post became the loudest headline, and the world turned its eyes once again toward a man who seems to hold the power of shaping waves with nothing more than a photograph. What is it about Taehyung that makes his simplest gestures feel monumental? Is it the way he curates silence into something louder than noise? Or is it the way he reminds us that beauty is often hidden in small details? The fans, now seasoned detectives in decoding his patterns, began piecing together fragments of memory from past years, revisiting old posts, interviews, and lyrics that could serve as keys to the puzzle. Some claim the coffee represented comfort during solitude, a reflection of his inner state as he moved through 2025 with quiet maturity. Others were convinced it hinted at a new project, perhaps an intimate album where every note would feel like sipping warmth in the cold. And then there were those who swore it was personal, that the post was a message not to millions, but to one. The emotional storm that followed was not just about coffee, it was about the man behind it. Fans remembered his earlier admissions about enjoying the simplicity of life, about how he found inspiration in small corners of his day, and how coffee itself was tied to his routine of slowing down amidst chaos. They remembered his late-night musings, his poetic tendencies, and his habit of embedding fragments of himself into details no one else would bother to notice. Suddenly, this update felt less like an Instagram post and more like an entry in a private journal that he willingly left unlocked, knowing millions would peek inside, and in doing so, feel closer to him. But what if the surprise does not end there? What if this was only the first spark of a narrative Taehyung has carefully prepared for the rest of the year? Could this be the opening of a storyline, a symbolic marker of a new era, where his creativity would flow not just in music, but in everyday aesthetics, crafting an experience that blurs the line between artist and audience? Imagine if the coffee itself is part of a larger visual poem, a clue planted intentionally to ignite questions that will only be answered in the months to come. It would not be the first time Taehyung has done this. Fans remember how in previous years, his subtle hints evolved into revelations that shook the entire fandom, rewriting the way they saw him, his art, and his journey. As the hours passed, comments flooded the post in waves, each one carrying a mix of adoration, speculation, and longing. Words like masterpiece, hidden message, and unexpected dominated the feed, but beneath them lay an undercurrent of emotional weight, a collective heartbeat that pulsed through millions of fans at once. What they were witnessing was not just content, but connection, the kind of connection that only someone like Taehyung can cultivate, where a sip of coffee turns into a symphony of emotions echoing across the world. The engagement was staggering, proof that even after years, his presence online still held the magnetic power to break silence with a single post. And so the question remains with coffee: why now? Why this? Could it be that Taehyung, in his own quiet rebellion against the noise of the digital age, chose to remind us that life itself is composed of small, tender details? Or was it a way of saying that 2025 holds something intimate for him and for us? Something that begins with warmth, with reflection, with stillness before the storm? No one knows for sure, but that is the beauty of following him, the uncertainty, the suspense, the emotional pull that keeps you checking, refreshing, wondering what comes next.
Cause all